What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to, I guess, my second edition of the PGA model breakdown for the Showdown format. And it went so well, the guys inside told me that they want me to do it again a couple of times. Plus, I've got a couple of new things to show you that I do in my model after each round. So let's get my ugly mug off the screen and jump right into it. So this is the second round, after the second round, I should say, of the BMW PGA Championship. Excuse me, I did that yesterday too. It's not PGA Championship, it's just the BMW Championship. BMW PGA Championship is a European Tour event. Anyways, we'll get on with what we're doing here. Okay, so this is round 3 that we've got coming up. What I've done here is I've added in the odds to win, just in case you are a bettor and you're interested in looking at my model and looking at possibly good bets going into the weekend. You know, sometimes what I would say is in good bets is looking at guys that are playing really good tee to green in terms of the event average, but maybe haven't gotten their putter going quite yet. You know, something like Xander Schauffele, who is still 28-1 and sits just 4 back. You know, a couple of other guys there. Louis Oosthuizen, he sits 2 back. He's 25-1. Billy Horschel, 28-1. Stuff like that. Again, I'm not recommending these things, but it's just another way for you to look at the information and try and get some value. Okay, so this is your first time watching. If you didn't catch it yesterday, I'll just quickly go through what the information is on here. The total rating, that is if you're building multiple entries, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I do, this is what I load into Fantasy Cruncher. This is what I would call the projected points. I got in trouble for that at one point, though, where somebody didn't really say that it was scientific enough to be projected points. But it's what I expect the golfers to come in around. Today, I believe the top score was Patrick Cantlay, who had 42 points, or at least somewhere around there. So I project, 39 as the top. Okay, so that's what the rating means. Of course, we go left to right. We got our round-by-round scores. We got our how many strokes back they are. Birdies, eagles, bogeys, greens in regulation, driving accuracy, driving distance. There, so what I'll call the old age statistics. And then, of course, on the right-hand side, we got the new age statistics. We've got tee to green, approach, off the tee, ball striking, around the green, putting, and short game. Okay, so the most important thing that I think I can talk about here, and again, if you missed the video yesterday, one of the things that I will love to look at, one of the first things I'll do is I'll go and I'll look at the difference between the strokes gained ball striking versus putting. I put this in the article. Well, what this tells me is golfers that are really striking the ball well, they're putting themselves into position, or at least this is where you have to go a little bit more into the stats. At least you think that they are. Now, why I said you think they are was because when we look at Kevin Strowman's actually lost 1.45 tee to green on average. That must mean he's losing there we go. He lost 6 strokes putting in round 2 for now an average of losing 3.78 per round. So as you can see, Kevin Strowman, not one of the guys we'd like to focus on, but somebody like Danny Lee, whose ball striking is very good, Matthew Wolff, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele. We tried Adam Hadwin here in that last round. He looked like he was going well. He had got it to 2 under par, but ended up coming in 2 over. A couple of other guys that seem to be bouncing back. Lanto Griffin, Dustin Johnson, and Carlos Ortiz is also there. All right, that's one of the first things that I like to look at. The next thing that I like to look at is the differential by round. So I put this in the article, and I think this is probably the most important people that are watching for the second time. If you caught my first video, awesome. Then this will be really helpful to you. If you didn't catch my first video, then I can just tell you quickly that what I'm looking for is I love to go look at ball striking first. Okay, so after we look at, second. After we look at ball striking versus putting, then I'll go strictly right to ball striking because some people might be striking the ball well and putting well. And of course, we want to know who those golfers are. So what I'll do here, though, is second is I'll come and see who struck the ball well in round 2. Maybe they found something on the course. I love to focus on these guys in the next round because, no, I don't expect it to happen every round, but it could be a signal that form is coming. Again, it's a small sample size, but it is something I like to look at. For example, Corey Connors, who we know is an elite ball striker when he's on. Today he gained 5 strokes ball striking. That says to me that he found something either within the round, and hopefully we can get it to go another one. Another guy, Max Homa, he gained about 4 more strokes ball striking in round 2 than he did in round 1. Maverick McNeely, Kevin Kisner, Matt Wolff, And yeah, I guess we could talk about Kevin Streelman, but let's just talk about Matt Wolff, Kevin Kisner, and Maverick McNeely. All of them gaining 3 more strokes ball striking in round 2 than they did in round 1. For a guy like Maverick McNeely as well, this is something I really like to see because he is one of the best putters on tour, and you can tell this week he's even putting well. He had a good putting day today. His approach is, though, still lacking. So this is what I'll do. I'll go through. This is exactly how I'll analyze it. First, I'll look at ball striking. Then I'll go over to the approaches and say, all right, well, I know that this week off the tee is super important if you're putting it in the fairway, but we know that you need to have a good approach game with how hard the greens are to give yourself any birdie looks. So that's how I can see, Maverick McNeely, gaining 0.3, but as good as a putter he is, all he needs to do is match the field on his approaches, and he's in good shape. Speaking of good on his approaches, Kevin Kisner, back-to-back rounds now where he's gained over a stroke, 1.4 strokes on his approaches, and he's also a great putter. Hasn't quite found it yet, found it a little bit in round 1, missed a couple of 5-footers in round 2. He's a guy that I would definitely be targeting for weekend long and round 3 due to his seeing the consistency in his game and knowing how good of a putter he is. Definitely going to be part of my lineups here this weekend and tomorrow. A couple of other guys that I like, and this is now going into kind of the secondary form of analysis that I'll do is, okay, I'll look and see for guys that have gained pretty good in both rounds. So now, of course, we're looking at the differential between rounds 1 and 2. But what I'm going to look for is golfers that are hitting it, that are playing well in both rounds. They gained a lot of strokes in both rounds. Kevin Kisner, like I just mentioned, was one. Jon Rahm has been much better this week than he was last week with his irons. He's gained in both. But guys like Xander Schauffele definitely will be on my radar this week. Not this week, tomorrow. And for the weekend-long custom, Dustin Johnson continues to be in form. Mackenzie Hughes looks good with his irons, as does Alex Noren. And there's one certainly going to be part of my lineups tomorrow. Alex Noren, he's a great putter. And you need to be a great putter this week. He's not doing that well off the tee, as you can see. But his irons right here, very good in both rounds. A couple of other guys, Brendan Steele, gained in both rounds as well. Patrick Reed, again. So these are guys, especially if I'm MMEing, Brendan Steele, Patrick Reed, definitely going to be part of my player pool. Even guys like Tiger Woods, I mean, poor Tiger, he really is struggling with the putter. But Billy Horschel has gained in 2 rounds. Adam Scott now has gained in 2 rounds. So, yes, while seeing a guy do much better on the differential side is certainly good, we also can't remove the fact that golfers like, for example, Alex Noren, he gained 0.4 of less strokes on his approaches in round 2 than he did in round 1, but he still gained almost 0.9 strokes in round 2 with his approaches. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. Differential can be used in certain circumstances to try and find golfers that are finding form, but in the same sense, you have to look at the lowest differential of golfers that may be already in form and are continuing to do so. So those are the pieces of analysis and how I can use all of this information to make my lineups and make my player pool for each and every Showdown event. Of course, the last thing we want to look for, birdie or better. That is just so important with all the with the high scoring. You need as many birdies as you can get. So of course we take a look at that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed these Showdown breakdowns. Hey, that's pretty good. Not bad there. And of course, if you want access to this model, and I put a lot of work into it each and every night, that I get it out for you guys. Of course, with the contest sizes being great, $50K again to first place tomorrow for just round 3. Another $20K to first on DraftKings for the weekend-long contest. Come join the plus side, the Awesemo plus side. You're going to get this. You're going to be able to take this information I just gave you, copy and paste it into your own Excel, disseminate it, work with it. I mean, if you're an Excel master, unlike I am, you could certainly do a ton with it. If you're not an Excel master, I make it pretty easy for you to copy and paste it into your own and just put it on a filter and be able to sort. So that's $8.95 for the week. And of course, if you're not an Awesemo Plus member, you want to come on for the month, you're going to get this, all the Showdown stuff, all of the weekly stuff, especially the Top Golfers tool from Alex Awesemo Baker, his golfer projections and ownership projections, which are some of the most important and best in the industry. Come join us, $29.99 for the month. You're going to get some great golf, including a major coming up here in just 2 weeks. So until next time, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed these videos. We'll continue them for the weekend. as the content consumption time is really good with the tournament starting later on. So till next time, everybody, until tomorrow night, we will see you on the other side, and good luck in round 3. Cheers.